Hello everyone, my name's Dan, and in just a couple seconds I'm going to start today's presentation. We will cover the GUMU, the Sage 100 to Sage CRM integration. Today we're going to go through Gratrix, my CRM Manager, the design of all of Gratrix's integrations, which they refer to as GUMU. That means Gratrix Universal Migration Utility. Today we're focused on the Sage 100 integration, but they have many. We will compare the GUMU for Sage 100 CRM against Sage's default integration that they've had for the past 10 or 12 years. And I'll show some screenshots, and then we'll go into a live demo, and like I said, followed by Q&A. Gratrix, you've all heard of them. They've been in business for the past 20 years. They just had their anniversary last spring, and they have an excellent reputation within the global Sage community. But it all started with Sage CRM back in the day. They started with Sage CRM, and now, of course, Gratrix is a mammoth global superstar partner for Sage, but just keep in mind that it all stemmed from Sage CRM. They do create the default integrations between Sage CRM and X3, but we'll cover that a different time. And of course, they're here to support you. Who are we? My CRM Manager. We focus exclusively on Sage CRM, and we have for the past 15 or more years. And we represent Gratrix here in North America. We provide localized sales and implementation support both to end users and Sage 100 partners. On this call, there are many Sage 100 partners from the North American community. Be aware that it's my job, our job here, to educate you on this GUMU if you want help and point you in the right direction. If you choose to work with Gratrix independently or with a different Sage CRM partner, that's totally fine. We just want you to know everything about this integration, what's new and what's going on with it. And of course, we always provide constant feedback to the Gratrix development team. That's why the integration is so progressive and keeps making changes all the time. It's based on feedback from the field. I've got a couple kind of busy screens. As I mentioned, Gratrix have their GUMU, their Universal Migration Utility, and it works with a variety of different accounting systems and feeds into a couple different CRM systems. They are becoming a powerhouse in the world of Salesforce. Not the subject of today's demo, but just so you know. And there's a lot going on this screen too. Just consider the GUMU middleware. It exists on the server. So there's nothing happening at the desktop level with Sage 100 for the users. It's all happening at the server level. It is a real-time bidirectional integration. It's very feature-rich and continues to get better and better. So this is a little subjective, just backstory. We have had many projects that use Sage's default integration as well as the GUMU, so maybe going back a few years ago. But then over time, I just didn't feel like it was appropriate to continue working with the default integration, and and then this Gratrix relationship evolved. Just the quick checkpoints here. In Sage's default integration, not the GUMU, people need Sage 100 installed on their workstation. The Sage GUMU is web-based and fully bidirectional, but Sage's version, no. This next one, some of these slides are if you were sitting in on the July 28th presentation, I've updated them a little bit. The GUMU supports multiple Sage 100 databases, and in theory, so does the Sage version, but in practice, it's not recommended. The GUMU supports both customers and vendors, so we can import both from the Sage 100 system. And it makes it very easy for users to see not just order and invoice history, but buying patterns, which you'll see through the screenshots and when I get into a live system. The money shot for the GUMU, if you want to think of it that way, is the ability to allow CRM users to create quotes and orders that, on approval, can flow into the Sage 100 sales order module. If a Sage 100 company didn't use the sales order module, you have the option of passing information directly into the AR module, but 9 times out of 10, people are using inventory and the sales order module with Sage 100, so that's what we do. And of course here, the GUMU is fast and beautiful with a very bright future. I can't emphasize enough the ongoing work and development that goes into the GUMU to make it better and faster and more feature rich all the time. When Sage released their integration, I don't know if it was 10 or 12 years ago, it was pretty much, it is what it is, but not so with this progressive integration. Couple slides here. I've dove in, not to the user experience. For some strange reason, I've started off with behind the scenes. I've opened up Sage CRM and I'm looking at an administrative panel. The GUMU provides us with the configuration options right in Sage CRM. Sorry, wrong button, including security profiles, which users need to see which functionality, what rights should they have. And we do that from the CRM interface. Remember, using this integration, we're allowing non-accounting staff deep visibility and functionality with the Sage 100 system. So they wouldn't be set up in Sage 100, they would be set up here. Now I've gone over to a company summary screen. I'm looking at a customer, and that customer is American Business Futures. And I'll just highlight here different points of integration. These aren't all of them, and I'll go into it, but it's quite deep. So as a sales user or a customer-facing person using Sage CRM, I have quite a bit of information at my fingertips here. I can see, well, who's the salesperson? Are they up or they down versus last year? When was the last transaction? You'll notice my, credit limit, red banner message there. But also we have maybe some charts. You don't have to see these charts right here, but you could see them either here or perhaps anywhere in CRM or even from the Outlook interface. This is, of course, the accelerator integration. That's the advanced integration between Microsoft Outlook and Sage CRM. Back to the customer record. On the customer record, not only did I see these key statistics, but I've got all these tabs across the top, which I'll quickly run through. I've got the customer record, which shows you what you would expect. Be aware too that we can promote Sage CRM companies, of course, from here into Sage 100. I can quote non-customers, and then when they want to start doing business with us, we can, of course, promote them into Sage 100. On the AR history tab, I see, of course, invoice history, and I have the ability to dive right into those invoice records. Or order inquiry, same goes. On the sales summary, I have the ability to look at a period and what's gone on with this particular account. And at the item sales history, I didn't highlight it apparently, but I've picked a particular SKU and I can see, oh, over the fiscal year, what has occurred with this particular SKU. One of my favorite features is this year-to-date tab where, and you'll see it in the live scenario, where we're seeing what this customer is buying or has purchased this year versus last year, and we're seeing it in both units and dollars. So it's actually a very fast and dynamic screen. So depending on the type of account, it's just phenomenal. And now I've got my credit history tab, what you would expect, right? And order processing. Again, this is a huge function of the GUMU, is to allow CRM users to create quotes and orders that leverage the Sage 100 inventory and pricing, but to do it from Sage CRM. So this is what it might look like. Here I've got an order and my different line items. And if I have the rights to, and the customer's approved it, I have the ability now to promote this Sage CRM order directly into Sage 100, feeding the machine, if you will. And we can also, when I've got an order open, I can clone that order, print that order, or I could even email it out. So I'm in front of a client perhaps, or from my home workstation, and I can crank out an order and I can do all kinds of different things. It's very common that clients will apply additional logic on these screens, perhaps adding Sage 100 user-defined fields, or even some calculations or conditions, like perhaps a purchase order has to be attached to this order in advance of somebody promoting it into Sage 100. Different companies have different things. Of course, that's the beauty of Sage CRM, is it wraps around the unique needs of a client. And the next one here is where I'm emailing out a copy of an order or a quotation to the client. So I just pushed a button. Let me go back. It was over in the far right-hand side, second from the bottom, send order, boom. I can type out a little personalized message here to George, and out it goes, right? With the order wrapped into a PDF. And of course, the documents that go out can look exactly how they want to look. Over the past 12 months, we've been working on, not even past 6 or 8 months, 6 months, we've been working on this quick line entry screen to make it even faster to create orders or to add line items into your order. It's really quite fast. But the most recent change here is to allow the user to search across multiple warehouses. So if the company has multiple warehouses, of course, the order and the customer have a default warehouse, but we could always flip to a different warehouse, but we can check for inventory. You'll see this in the live demo. So, ooh, do I have any of those AM/FM stereos? Let me check. And if I don't in this warehouse, I can flip and pick from a different warehouse. We can also, and I'm jumping around a bit, I appreciate that, I am able to look up inventory. Sage CRM reflects real-time inventory managed in the Sage 100 system. And not only can I look up inventory and see if we have it, but something we added was the ability to dive into those line items. So I look up the inventory, and then if I click on an item, I can see which orders and quotes and even customers have been purchasing this. Furthermore, I can dive into the individual order or invoice transaction and see the line item. So what was this sold in conjunction with? It's quite powerful. So web-based, fully bidirectional, supports both customers and vendor integration. You can view invoices, orders, and buying patterns, but of course you can create orders too. Look up history, look up inventory. Yeah, this was the big one right here. And that it supports multiple Sage 100 databases without any issue. If, again, a lot of the people on this call are from the Sage 100 community, this is as accurate as I think it's accurate. I checked the pricing and I went through the updated October lists. If I had a bunch of order processing people that are really salespeople, well, they all need a license for Sage 100 the traditional way, but if you do this through the Graytrix or the GUMU integration, you have to buy a Sage CRM license, and the GUMU integration, it's very different. So not only is it cost effective to have order processing staff use Sage CRM in terms of the annual rate, but they get CRM on top of that, which is what smart people do, right? Live demo, ready? One sec. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just log off and log back into this test environment. It's not the fastest, but in this test environment, I can provide personalized demonstrations at any time. I'll bring this up at the end too, but I'm here to help you or your Sage CRM partner or your customers understand it. That's fine. So when I bring up Sage CRM, in this demo, I'm not going to be focused very much on Sage CRM itself. This demo is about the integration. So I'm going to go and I'm going to bring up that company, American Business Futures. This is more of a slow-mo version of my slides, but it's the same, right? I get to see this graphical representation of what's going on with this account. Now, this to me might get tiresome and you might not want this chart here. You might want it on a separate tab. That's fine. But also, as I mentioned, you can see this from the Outlook integration. So if I go find American Business Futures through my Outlook integration, and I click on it and I click on this chart, I can see this, or any of the Sage 100 information. Over the next phase of the GUMU, we're going to be doing more and better and jazzier reports. I think that's a key focus coming up. Let's go back to the system. I showed you the various tabs, customer record. I didn't go very deep into them. I'll go into an AR inquiry, and AR inquiry and order inquiry are really very similar. So I'll just go into this one, and I notice that I can go to a transaction. Oh, this was a big one, and I can even go into the details of it. I'm not an accounting user. I don't have a dedicated user license for accounting, but still I can see what's going on. On that sales summary tab, we picked a period, and then I could see what's going on. Item sales history prompts us to first pick an item. And in demos, I usually tank on this because I don't know where the data is. But if I pick this item and show me the history, if there is any history, and it looks like there is for May, it will pop up here. Different features, of course, are more appealing to different customers. If I click on this one I mentioned, it's my favorite function right now, other than order processing, but I can see, notice there's a couple rows here. I could keep going to the next page, but I can see what this company is buying or not buying. So maybe not in a one and done type business, but more of an account management. I can flip through the SKUs. I can go over here and say, oh, show me the cables. And I could see, and I could keep flipping. So you'll notice how this responsive design retotals what we're doing. So I could go by product category or anything. It's very fast. So the integration keeps getting better. And this is one that, this is a good example of that. Credit history, kind of boring. We already covered that. Let's go find inventory. If I go find inventory, as I mentioned, we're looking at the Sage 100 inventory in real time. I've got my different items. Of course, I could filter for a specific item, but I don't have that many. And if I click on one, the green hyperlink, it will bring it up. And I can see, like I said, invoices, orders, or who's buying this, right? And if I needed to, I could go into an individual transaction and see what this was sold in conjunction with. Seems like one of our tests. So that is the find inventory feature. Remember, not everybody needs everything, and you can set up the system so that people only see what they need to see. That's no problem. Under the context of American Business Futures, the next part I was going to go back and show the creation of a quota order. So absolutely, we can do this right from this screen, but in practice, most people will create an opportunity and then. But if I were, so this is not a Sage 100 order, this is still a Sage CRM order. Many companies will change this, the label, but I'm entering my order header. When I press next, it's going to create the opportunity in the background, not a particularly jazzy name, but it did. And now I've got my order header, and I can either one at a time enter items, or I can use the new quick line entry function to add my different line items. I can flip through my product families, nothing in data communications, cables. I can check, do I have any of those cables? Oh, sweet. But I could have also dropped down and checked a different warehouse. I can use this mass one or this sort of global search if I had tons of inventory to filter through. It's great. And then as I need things, I can say one of these and one of those, right? I have the ability to, I need 3 of these, bang. So I'm quickly adding these line items to my quote, and I'm going to press save and close. So you'll notice the promote button there. That's how we would pass it over to Sage 100 when the conditions were met. Not all companies allow all users to do this, so just be aware that's a common thing people change. That send order button for the PowerPoint was where we wrapped our order into the PDF, and now I can type a little personalized message to Diana. Hey, here you go. I could be right in front of her on my tablet or my laptop doing this, or I could be on the phone. You don't need to be anywhere. I've just brought up Sage CRM, the URL from Sage CRM, depending on how I get to my Sage CRM instance. So it's that's how it works. And when you're in here, this is a very common place where companies will want to maybe add some magic or some extra rules. Perhaps a document needs to be attached. Perhaps there's user-defined fields even when I add a line item. This is just another example of Sage CRM and how people sort of want it to reflect and manage their policies, and you can do that as well. If I had the rights to, I could say promote order. And this is where, if I have rights to, and let's see if their credit history is okay. At this point, the Sage CRM order has now become a Sage 100 order. That's how it works. I hope I wasn't too fast of a talker. I covered the points of the system. Let me see if I can, I don't know that I have the ability to unmute everybody. Are there any questions from the group? This could be the time for Q&A. And while I'm waiting for any questions to come up, be aware that we do our very best to maintain the features on the product and break it down into digestible chunks on this page of our website. So from the homepage, key features, Sage 100, you can download a user guide, you can watch some summary videos. When I'm dealing with prospects or new Sage 100 partners, I always have them try to review this. This top video here might be a little too superficial for you. It's sort of 55 seconds of these are the key points. If you scroll down below, you've got the user experience video. This video gets watched a lot on YouTube, but you could also navigate through the different features and read more. We've got an about Graytrix, but also the FAQ section. What's the cost? What does the GUMU mean? And so forth. Please let me know if you have any other questions or concerns. I'd be glad to help. Thanks for attending.